Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about cutting variegated philodendron so that they maintain the coloring in the next node that comes out. As we've talked about on this channel before, cutting an albo monstera is really important to figure out where you want to cut so that the next node that comes out will either have coloring or not. Always on variegated monstera deliciosa, you have the node to either come out on this side of the aerial root or the back side of the aerial root. So what you do to figure out exactly where it is, you peel back the leaf sleeve and look for the pimple, we call it. So you can see on this side of the stem, you have a ton of striping on the stem, and ideally that's where the node would come out. So if I were to cut here, it would force a node out right here. But I'm not seeing any of the oval pimple, that's what we call it here. It's really just the axial bud. So that means it must be on the opposite side. So as you can see on this side, it's all green. So I know if I cut here at this node, what will come out below will come out at this node. So let's find the axial bud. So if you really peel back, it's hard to see, but there's a little white dot in there. That's the axial bud. So again, if I cut at this line, if this had an aerial root ready to cut, if I cut at this line, this bud would come out there. On a philodendron, it's a little bit different where it comes out, and I'll show you where it comes out. And if I could just stop you right there and please ask you to subscribe or like the video, it really does help us out. This is a philodendron strawberry shake, and where the buds come out are actually behind the leaf. So I removed this leaf earlier, and you can see right under this little scab where this leaf was attached, right here, there's a dot. I can get it focused, there it is. So there's a dot right there. Just beneath each leaf, you're going to have a bud. Same thing goes here, same thing goes here, and all the way around. And typically, the aerial root is on the exact opposite side, 180 degrees on the opposite side. So that's what you're gonna use to predict when you cut the next node down, what it will come out on the stem, which coloring it will have. On strawberry shake, it's hard to see the exact stem coloring to give you the exact variegation in the leaf. But here in the strawberry shake, you can see a little bit of the striping. It's mostly burgundy, but then you can see this pink striping through the strawberry shake leaf, and that's that strawberry shake pink color that this plant can express. Sometimes it will express this yellow against the dark green, but what we're really looking for is that strawberry shake pink, and I can see it down there in the stem. So here, if you look at this leaf stem, you can see there's a bit of a coloring pattern change right beneath the leaf. And that's the node I want to take. So I'm going to try and not sever off this leaf here, but take the other three leaves together. And ideally that node that's beneath this leaf, just behind it, will start growing after I take the shoot. Cutting between the nodes here, as shallow as possible. It fully didn't cut the stem off because I didn't cut all the way through. And then I'll just gently nick it all the way back. So there you can see the cutting, you can see the three leaves attached, and ideally this leaf stays on. It might fall off because I did go a bit deeper than I'd like. You can see the severing there. Just on the inside of the leaf there, on the inside, that's where the new shoot or horn will come from, and that will be the new apical meristem where this plant will grow from. It will be a new growth point. And remember, you always really want one growth point at a time on a plant, because multiple growth points on a plant at once take away energy from the rest. So ideally we'll get a growth point just there, but potentially because I peeled that leaf back and then I cut the stem, that could activate or that could activate, but typically it's the highest growth point on the stem which activates. And I know that these are the two growth points because they're exactly opposite along the stem. It seems that with a lot of these philodendrons, it tends to be opposite 180 degrees, and it rotates or alternates on opposite sides of the stem as it goes up. So the roots will be opposite as well as the shoots will be opposite. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of confusing, and I'll show you on a pink princess now. So I think this pink princess is easier to see the striping along the stem. It's a much better contrast in that bright pink against the burgundy. So here's a great example of that pink striping, and that's essentially where I want the striping to line up with against where the leaf is connecting. But I don't want it to be fully pink because then I'll get fully pink leaves, which I've had happen to me on a pink princess before. It's kind of a bummer. It looks really pretty, but they die off just like all albo leaves do. Not enough chlorophyll to produce food for the plant. Okay, so the hardest part with this is looking along the stem and kind of finding exactly where where you want to cut. You really have to spend some time looking for the exact striping. I want to see candy cane lines of pink and then burgundy and pink and burgundy and kind of like striping throughout the stem. That's the best chance of getting these variegated leaves that have both colorings, and that's what we really want. You don't really want all pink and you don't want all burgundy. But I think I've found the spot. So just under this leaf here, which looks like a block of pink, which is true because then that creates the block of pink on this leaf. But just under this leaf is a really nice striping along the stem. So what I'm going to do is cut just above this shoot to take this top cutting off. So it will give me these top few leaves. I'll leave the half moon on the mother plant. Here we go. Cutting between the nodes here. And keeping the orientation exactly the same, I'll show you what I saw. There's the striping that I was talking about along the stem. So that's exactly where the node should come out of on the mother plant. And I'll show you that now. So again, where this leaf is connected to the stem here, on the inside of it, that's where the shoot's going to come out of. And I don't want to rip off this half moon leaf to show you guys. So in a perfect world, if I did this right, this shoot will come out with lots of great variegation, not be all burgundy, not be all green, but have a nice mixture of pink, greens, and burgundy, and the beautiful colors that a pink princess philodendron can give us. So these are the results. So these plants should be good in their coloring, but I did take a risk by cutting these other two philodendrons, the mothers, but that's part of this process of growing these different plants. Keep an eye out for exactly on the stem where you have these different stripings like that along the stem. And the strawberry shake is a little bit tougher, but look at your other philodendrons. You'll be able to see different stripings on them. I do this with the burl marks variegata also. You can see the big blocks of green versus the big blocks of yellow. And I have these here I cut earlier. So we have a all green burl marks. These came off the same plant. Burl marks can be kind of unstable in its variegation. So you can see this green stem obviously is all green all the way around and created green leaves. Here we have variegated leaves. There's the clear striping along the stem. That striping along the stem will create these leaves. And also again on the stem structure, you can see the new shoot, the apical bud, comes out of between the leaf. So where the leaf connects to the stem in this pocket, that's exactly where the new shoot will come out of. And that's what I was showing you on that stem. If my arm is the stem, you essentially want all that striping along there where the leaf connects. Great striping, you cut right here, and this shoot will start coming out. I know it's a weird way to show you as an example, but I want to drive this point home. It's definitely more complicated than cutting Monstera. It's harder to exactly see where that coloring is coming from, but I hope this makes it clear. If you guys did enjoy this video, please click the like button down below and consider subscribing for a new video about houseplants every Saturday. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Sorry for the late upload. See you next time, everybody.